What's up, guys? Sandseven here, and well, Dungeon 4 walkthrough. Here we go. I'm going to start off with D4S1 because it's a skull dungeon, very important. And well, here's the line, Pumpkin Duke. You see that little hole right there? First, I'm going to drop GA, then I'm going to drop Pumpkin Duke, wait, and then Restoration right when the GA ends. From there, he celebrates. We're off to the races. I absolutely love this line for a few reasons, but the main reason is it cuts time off this dungeon and farming it. I have a number of different lines that I can use here. However, this is the fastest one. I absolutely love it. And you can see that, well, the heroes do split a little bit, but they come back together, they converge, and basically by then, anyways, all the threats are taken away. Because in Dungeon 4, your real concerns are going to be Executioner and Assassin. Now, it's not until Dungeon 5 that you have to deal with the legendaries. So in Dungeon 4, the guys that can kill you real quick, well, Executioner or Assassin. You can see they're sitting right next to each other right there. And well, basically, I'm going to use Druid. I'm going to do this over and over again. I'm going to use him. He's a ranged hero. You can do it with any ranged hero. He draws the troops out. And from there, well, Pumpkin Duke's going to go off. And oh no, Pumpkin Duke with two of them. Oh, what am I doing? I'm not paying attention. Oh, Pumpkin Duke, there you go. Let's go ahead and give you some love, buddy. Drop the Restoration on him. And from there, well, yeah, I don't even think I'm going to need GA. Now, the three spells I'm using, Restoration, GA, and Fervor. Basically, level your Restoration up right away. Ari's Fervor, it says troops only, but it does work on heroes. Also, it needs to be leveled. It gives a percentage of attack, so, well, the higher level your heroes get, the more effective it becomes. If you're using low-level heroes, mid-level heroes, you know, it's really not that effective. But once your heroes gain some good levels, it becomes very, very, very useful. And, well, here we go. We got Dungeon 4, second base in. And this is actually a dungeon that I used my Spirit Mage and Druid on my main account and took them to level 100 on this dungeon. And used to duo them here. But on this one, well, I'm just going to go ahead and open with Druid, and you'll notice I'm going to wait for the Assassin to come to me, and then drop my other four heroes. And what that's going to do is guarantee that my heroes target their Assassin right off the bat, and they're not swinging away at a wall or something else. And then from there, well, I'm simply just going to time when I use my spells. And that's one of the things that I love about using my phone versus playing on BlueStacks. And if you're not familiar with BlueStacks is a program that runs on your PC that allows you to play Android on your PC. However, me, growing up as a console gamer, I'm not fast with a mouse, and getting the spells in really quick to keep my guys alive when I'm running dungeons that I'm not used to running this line, or I'm raiding, and I've just got to basically react. I'm not great with BlueStacks at all, and I definitely prefer my phone. But when it comes to a line like D4S1 that I've done over and over again, the spell placement, it doesn't have to be really, really fast. I'm not dropping heroes in multiple spots. Love BlueStacks then. It's very, very, very convenient. Alright, and you can see right here, well, I got two troop camps, two heroes. Obviously, I'm going to open with Pumpkin Duke. Basically, all the aggro, if I can get it all together in one spot in an opening, I'm always going to open with him. Now, another cool thing that I've noticed, which isn't in this video, but basically, rating-wise, is opening with Cupid, because I have a revive on Cupid. Now, you could probably do this with just about any hero that has revive. However, I really do like it on Cupid, and Thunder God, thank you! Saving my Spirit Mage's ass right there. But basically what happens when you open with a revive hero, especially a ranged one, is you get to test the target, the tower target range, and when that revive hero dies, the aggro will switch to another hero, and by then, Pumpkin Duke's usually celebrated, and once all the buffs start, it's all over. And you can see right here, I'm looking at this one, and I do not think I chose a very good line on this, and I would not suggest this line. You can see right here, I'm going to go ahead and drop Druid, and wait for that Assassin to come out. Right there, Assassin comes out, drop the rest of the guys, and gotta say, I'm going to end up splitting my heroes here, and very bad placement of spells, because basically, don't be lazy with your camera. And you can see right here, Druid's on the bottom of the screen, and I'm like, okay, I'll just drop the GA right there, and it doesn't even get to Druid. No, I get lucky enough not to lose it, but on top, I'm like, oh my god, I lose Pumpkin Duke. Whew, got the Restoration in. Oh man, that's another thing to pay attention to is keep your eye on Pumpkin Duke. If you open with the right line, generally your heroes aren't going to be splitting like that, and you don't have to have your left, one eye on each spot of the screen to drop, your healing spells to keep guys alive. With the right line, you generally only have to pay attention to Pumpkin Duke. And as usual, the phone's always dying. Alright, moving back in. Don't know where I'm at. Let's see. What am I in? What was that? 5th one? Okay. Looks like I'm going to be using a Gem Refresh on the next turn. But basically what I did was I recorded from D4 S1, and I went all the way to the end and was like, well, I'm so close to a complete walkthrough in Dungeon 4, I might as well do that. And now that I'm basically in the middle of this commentary, I'm thinking, I'm going to do a walkthrough on all 8 dungeons, every one of them. Might as well. And I'll probably do it with 3 different accounts, because I do have a new account that's basically, I'm creating a new Smurf, because this account's obviously no longer a Smurf. So, creating a Smurf, and I'll probably do Dungeons 1 through 3 with that one. With this one, probably see how far I can get, and if need be, head to my main to finish up on, Dungeon 7, Dungeon 8, maybe Dungeon 6 parts. Not sure yet, we'll see how it goes, but I think I will do a walkthrough on every dungeon in the game. Might as well. And, well, we're going to go through here, and, oh, come on! Look at their one little Guardian versus all my guys all revited up. No. Alright, we'll go ahead and grab the spells right there, and you'll notice Guardian Angel is level 1. Do not level it, and I'll get into that in just a minute in this video. Alright, from here, well, where are we going to next? Let's see, I believe, yeah, 6-1 in, okay. Alright, on this one I figured I'd open right here because, well, I'm not going to split my heroes if I open here. It'll give me, time to get all my buffs charged up, Pumpkin Duke going. So, as usual, I'm going to go ahead and open with Druid here. There's really, on this one, I do like this line here, and really you could probably open with just about anybody on that troop camp with the hero levels that I have right now. And I'm paying attention to Pumpkin Duke because I'm used to, on my main account, he does have sprint, so he runs out there like that, so I'm always watching him. And then I have to be quick about it because I notice, uh-oh, TG's on top, but it freezes on me. I'm like, what's going on? I was like, spell place, okay, that looks good, but watch Druid after this comes over, because Druid is the stupidest hero of all time, but I've never just seen him attack the ground. What are you doing, Druid? Oh, man, and Pumpkin Duke, come on, buddy, you got it. Yeah, And, well, I lost Thunder God and Pumpkin Duke, and for the 3rd time watching this, I still didn't watch Thunder God die, but that's because my eye is generally on Pumpkin Duke. I'm used to sprint. Now, what you saw there is obviously not what happened. It's just the visual part is lagged out, and it happens occasionally on games. No big deal. We'll have to use a couple gem refreshes on the heroes. But basically, when it comes to spells and, should you drop that GA restoration on the hero, just better to be safe than sorry, because the 10 gems is not worth it, and the amount of time it takes is definitely not worth it, because hero revive times suck. Looking at this one, and I'm thinking, I think I can go, because basically Assassin and Executioner are the 2 people you want to worry about. Well, I can drop Pumpkin Duke, get the GA in there right off the bat, take care of the 2 biggest hero threats, get my team all charged up with, a double, maybe triple stack of Pumpkin Duke Celebrate right there. And from there, well, it looks like Restoration, no, looks like I'm good. And with that big troop camp coming in, I'll go ahead and use that Restoration to make sure I don't lose TG or Pumpkin Duke, because if Pumpkin Duke does end up taking aggro instead of TG, he will go down pretty quickly. He's kind of spongy. And from there, Spirit Mage, Thunder God, procking away. We're going to go ahead and clean this one up real quick. But like I said, I've got, first part of the video was D4S1, and the very last one is D4S2, and the line I use on that one is an oldie, but it's a goldie. It's that's a dungeon I farmed forever on my main account. So, alright, well, here's Guardian Angel, and what you're going to notice is by leveling it up, the only benefit you're going to get is the troops and the magic effect. The magic effect is the size of the spell. The troops, well, obviously the number of troops. You only have 5 heroes. There's no need to have more than 6 protected. You can use troops, but, they're kind of a pain in the ass to use, honestly. I really don't use troops pretty much ever anymore. And, alright, looking at this one, where am I going to open here? I'm looking at this like, I'm thinking probably up here to go ahead and take care of that Executioner and that Assassin, because the last thing I want are my heroes to split off and have to deal with one of them by themselves. That's one thing you don't want, is, Pumpkin Duke running off by himself, you're pretty much guaranteed to have to use a Restoration or GA right there. Planning out when you're going to use the spells is a good idea. And you can see from there, once the assassin comes, I've got all 5 of my guys, and I've got the buffs going. You can see I didn't have to use Restoration there, even though that was pretty close on Pumpkin Duke, but I was watching that one pretty closely. And from there, I can save my Restoration till later. Another thing that, you know, really, if you have both spells and your heroes do split, pay attention to where Druid is, because dropping the Guardian Angel, you know, where your troops are next to Druid is probably best, you know, unless you're running a situation where you have to drop Guardian Angel because of a whole bunch of hero aggro. But when you're splitting, when your heroes run off by themselves, use a Restoration because it will give them health back, because Druid, you know, the dodo bird that he is off running around somewhere else. Alright, we're going to go ahead and grab those 3 spells again, and I like Fervor simply because it helps me get through the dungeons faster. If you've seen any of my main account through dungeons rating, I like Frenzy. I'm addicted to Frenzy. I'm addicted to the speed of it. And I also have talents of Sprint on my heroes, but I don't have Frenzy on this account yet, so I'm using Fervor, and it adds to damage on the heroes, adds 17% damage to the attack. So, hey, it does help speed things up, especially when Spirit Mage is proccing with the Druid buff and a Celebrate buff and a Cupid buff. That pretty much means buildings start going down in one shot when Spirit Mage starts spitting those magic missiles everywhere. And you can see I'm going to go ahead and open there, use that GA early. But from there, well, Thunder God proccing right on top of Executioner. And Assassin's running out there. Might as well use the Restoration right there because, well, it's going to cover all my heroes when the troop camp comes. The Executioner, well, he didn't really make it there. That's another thing to pay attention to is where you're dropping your spells. Try to predict where your heroes are going to be running and lead your guys if you have to. That's one of the things when you're raiding, especially on circle bases, and you got a 5/5 Sprint Pumpkin Duke dropping it with Frenzy, and he's just flying around, you do have to predict where he's going to stop sometimes, which is kind of hard to do, but in the dungeons, you know, you're going to be forming skull dungeons. Don't go through these dungeons and be like, oh, well, I saw you do this one that had that much experience. I'm going to do that one over and over for experience. Don't do that. Farm the skull ones. It's all about shards. Dungeons, the only reason you want to do it is for shards. So find the right skull dungeon. You're going to be doing it over and over again. You're going to know where you need to drop your spells. And, well, on this one, I figured, going to open over there. There's a nice little gateway for me. I'm going to come in here. And, of course, it's just going to split my heroes like it's made to. And I dropped the GA. And you can see right there, I was just a hair off of getting Pumpkin Duke in there with that. Drop the Restoration, and I'm going to lose him. I think I only lose 4 heroes total in this walkthrough. And 2 of them when it froze like that, but I probably would have lost them anyways. And 1 right there, and there's 1 later on, I believe it's in the last one, and it's a misplaced spell there as well. So, basically, if I can put my spells down right, I'm usually fine for Dungeon 4 right now. And the baby, Thunder God. Oh, he's got the little heart over his head. He's just saving people left and right. That's one of the things you will notice is Thunder God will save your guys over and over because of that stun. It's also, if you're leveling Thunder God's ability, basically it adds +2 troops or buildings or heroes, whatever it is, when he does proc. Because he has an AoE proc, which basically it hits, let's say it hits right in the middle of the troop camp. Well, it's going to kill that troop, and it's going to kill X number of troops around it, whether it be 8, 10, 12, 14. So if you're looking for the actual table of stats and, you know, you're a real numbers guy, check out the Castle Clash Wikipedia. It's absolutely brilliant with each hero, each level, each skill level, what it does. You know, really, really good stuff. Alright, and, well, in this one I'm looking at 3 heroes and figure, well, if I can take those 3 guys out from there, I'm probably not going to have too many problems. As usual, drop the Druid, draw the guys out. Thunder God, just slowing them up. And from there, you know, I was thinking, do I need to use GA right there? Do I need to use Restoration? But with the buffs going and, you know, Pumpkin Duke basically is getting me through this and getting me through Dungeon 4 very easily because that Celebrate is increasing movement speed, it's increasing attack, it's increasing also attack speed, which is huge. It's the attack speed and movement speed that really makes things go by fast. And there it is, the GA right there at the end, because I'm always paying attention to Pumpkin Duke and where he's going. So, hold on once. I do apologize, guys. My phone just will not stop ringing, and we're just going to unplug it. There we go. All right. I swear, I absolutely hate phones. And, okay, grab the spells, get ready to go. And that's why if anybody's ever called me on line chat or CAC when I had that, yeah, I basically insta-blocked. Just annoying. All right, well, looking right here, where do I open? If the two troop camps on the bottom were closer to each other, I might be able to draw aggro from both of them with Pumpkin Duke, but since they're not, I'm going to have to start off with Druid, draw them out, bring the rest of the guys in, and by then, it should be close to all the buff stacking. You can see right there, Pumpkin Duke is going to pick up aggro first. When you do open on a troop camp like that, Pumpkin Duke will run out first and take aggro from a hero that's just inside the base. He will take aggro basically 7, 8 out of 10 times, where Thunder God will take it the other couple times. Because, well, if you're raiding with these 5, which these are my 5 favorite heroes to raid with by far, the other 3 are ranged. So, you get a real big benefit of that, and they don't pick up the aggro, but you just got to be a little careful with it. Also, the baby has a tendency to wander off, as babies do, Alright, from there, well, just cleaning things up. We're going to have to run all the way down there for that other base. Thunder God, just not powerful enough to take it down in one swing. And I believe this dungeon walkthrough is getting close to being over. Let's see, where are we at now? Go ahead, as usual, grab the 3 spells. And it's basically costing me 30,000 in magic per run. Now on my main, if I were to do this, it would be 30,000 simply for Guardian Angel. That's why you don't want to level it up. It just gets more expensive. Alright, we got this dungeon right here, and, well, there's 3 heroes next to each other. That's obviously where I want to open. We're going to go ahead and drop Pumpkin Duke, drop that GA, make sure we keep him alive, get the fervor out, and you can see the buff is just going to stack. One more thing to notice, if you are dropping Pumpkin Duke into a really, really high aggro spot, a whole bunch of troop camps, towers, heroes, sometimes you want to drop GA first, like the line you saw in the first dungeon I did, D4S1. I dropped GA first because if I'm late, if I drop Pumpkin Duke first, even if I'm as fast as I can possibly be getting that GA in there, he's going to drop a decent amount of health. And getting him back up to full health when that protection spell ends and he actually can start taking damage, you really want his health as high as possible. So that's why sometimes dropping a GA first before dropping Pumpkin Duke, it's a good idea. So it's something you got to play with if you're finding a specific line or you're raiding. It's something you just kind of got to get a feel for on whether or not you need to drop GA first or whether you can just drop Pumpkin Duke and go from there. And I don't know if it's just me or am I just noticing not very many drops. I think I remember seeing one, but I usually don't pay that much attention anyways. After you farmed as many dungeons, and gone through them as many times. Oh, honor backs. I got that in just before the server reset, which is always nice. Alright, I have no idea why I'm over there looking at Spirit. Oh, that's right, I'm looking at Spirit Mage because it's almost time to star her up and get her past level 80. Okay, let's see. We got the last dungeon. Alright, I'm about tired of talking. Okay. In this dungeon, this is where I absolutely love to open every time. Again, I'm going to use Druid. He's going to lead the troops out. But what this line does, this line is going to keep your heroes together in this dungeon where it is hard to do. This is the only line I found that I absolutely love. Right there, you can see they're all going to come through here. And usually Pumpkin Duke's going to get his Celebrate off as soon as he gets to the wall and before the Executioner gets there, which means, well, we're going to get through that pretty quick. And now, from there, you're going to have to drop your GA. And I was late. That was a mistake on the spell. I know better than that, was not paying attention, and ended up losing my Pumpkin Duke there, which I've done this, I don't know, 5 to 7 times since this video, and haven't lost any heroes since. The line's been working out pretty well for me. I absolutely love Thunder God's proc on all those troops right there, and you can see the number of troops he killed right there was simply due to his skill level. If he had a 9 and 9, they'd all be dead, which would be nice, but alright, battery is really dying now, but luckily it's at the end of the video, and we're going to wrap this up, and this is going to be the conclusion of the Dungeon 4 walkthrough. Now, I'll probably do Dungeon 1, 2, 3, maybe combine those two together and just speed the footage up, because really, do people need a guide to get through that? But I'll do each individual dungeon from 5 to 8, like I did this video. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it. That's Dungeon 4 walkthrough. Sandseven out.